here's the thing about Zach. We asked him to give us a plot summary for F9, which he's about to share. But the fun fact you all may or may not know is we asked specifically for Zach to do this because I knew that Zach had never seen any Fast and Furious movie ever. So what's more fun than asking someone who's never seen the first 8 movies to just randomly watch the 9th movie and then share with us his own plot summary. So without further ado, I would like to turn the stage over to Zach to share us his plot summary of F9.
Fast and Furious 9 plot summary. Scene 1. We open on a stock car race. A driver whose helmet says Toretto is driving. As he pulls in for a pit stop, 1989 pops up on the screen. A mechanic, Hubbard, comes to the driver's side window and tells the driver, Jack, that he doesn't need to try so hard. Jack looks over the dash and yells, Jacob, now! Into the frame walks another mechanic who we learn is Jack's son, Dom. As Dom coaches his dad on navigating the track, the team behind Jack's car starts yelling at them. Once out on the track, Jack and the other team's driver begin driving aggressively at each other until Jack's car is launched into the air where it bursts into flames. Scene 2. Vin Diesel and a toddler are working on a tractor on a farm, far enough off the grid that they don't have to worry about child labor laws. A woman in overalls comes out when a car pulls up. The child, Brian, crawls into a hole in the floor of the barn, and Vin Diesel and Miss Overalls arm themselves. A man steps out and introduces himself as Roman. Then Ludacris and one of his backup dancers get out of the car, and everyone hugs. Ludacris's backup dancer plays a grainy video of Kurt Russell sending out an SOS message that his plane is under attack. It is revealed that Kurt Russell caught Cypher, an evil hacker with a Captain Kangaroo haircut. It is also revealed that his plane went down in Monte Quinto, not a real place. It is now nighttime on the farm, and Brian is asking Vin Diesel if he knows where God is. Vin Diesel goes into his garage and rewatches the Kurt Russell video, then looks at a photo of a church. The word Monte Quinto, not a real place, appears on a screen, and we see a caravan of sports cars, military vehicles, and a motorcycle whipping around the cliffs while techno music pulsates. The group cautiously approaches the crash site of Kurt Russell's plane. Ludacris's backup dancer unlocks a compartment in the plane to discover a mysterious object. Monte Quinto's fictional military shows up, and a gunfight ensues. Vin Diesel and the gang make it to their vehicles, flee, and are pursued by the military through a minefield. The camera pulls back to show a mysterious figure next to a sports car watching the pursuit from a distant high altitude. As the gang exits the minefield, the military vehicles pursuing them are destroyed. Roman's vehicle becomes lodged in a rock formation, and he narrowly avoids being crushed to death. Ludacris's backup dancer locates a bridge that will take them across the border to reality and safety. The gang heads toward the bridge, but they are cut off en route. Miss Overalls is attacked and launched off her motorcycle, but is safely caught by the hood of Vin Diesel's car. The device is scooped up by John Cena, the observer from earlier. Vin Diesel and John Cena lock eyes, then race towards the bridge. Ludacris arrives at the bridge first, but destroys the bridge as he's driving across. As Vin Diesel and John Cena race, a military helicopter appears and fires missiles at them. John Cena hits his nitrous and flies over the side of the cliff, only to be scooped up by a stealth plane. Vin Diesel uses his nitrous to go over the cliff and catches one of the bridge cables on his passenger front tire, causing his car to swing across the border into safety. Back on the military plane, Ludacris's backup dancer announces that she's recovered GPS coordinates from Kurt Russell's plane. Then Ludacris says, quote, "Question, who is Jacob?" Because he had not seen John Cena. Dom and Jacob confront the rival driver who, flashback. Dom and Jacob confront the rival who caused the crash. After the driver insults his father, Dom attacks him and ends up going to prison. Scene 4. John Cena is meeting with his captive, Cypher, in an aircraft hangar. John Cena shows her the device recovered from the crash. She tells him that the other half is in Edinburgh. Scene 5. Vin Diesel leads his group through a Tim Burton's Batman-style military base. Ludacris states that this must be Kurt Russell's secret hideout. Vin Diesel tells the group, "Whatever happens, it's on me." Roman replies, "Whatever's on you, it's on us." While Ludacris and his backup dancer repair computers, Roman begins to question the nature of his reality, recounting past adventures and marveling at the statistical unlikelihood of their continued survival. His observations are ridiculed and ultimately dismissed. While Vin Diesel and Miss Overalls are talking, Ludacris walks in and says, "We've got company. I think you know this person." Some white woman walks in, and we learn that it's Vin Diesel's sister. Vin Diesel points out that she has left her children to be here, and she tells Vin Diesel that her kids and his son, Brian, are with Brian. After the group reconvenes, Ludacris's backup dancer explains Project Ares, the mysterious object recovered from Kurt Russell's plane. Vin Diesel suggests that they split up to find the other piece before John Cena. Before they leave, Ludacris brings up an image of an Asian man revealed to be a dead man named Han. Vin Diesel pulls out the photograph from the church and remarks that he received it the day Han died and turns it over to reveal that the postmark is stamped Tokyo. Flashback, Dom is in prison where he's working in an auto shop. Dom realizes that his father's fatal crash may have been a result of some tampering with the engine. Dom leaves prison and immediately goes to a street racing meetup in direct violation of his parole. There, Dom meets his brother Jacob and challenges him to a race. Dom wins the race and Jacob is sentenced to drive away for good. Scene 6. Vin Diesel pulls up to the racetrack where Jacob Toretto died and Jack Toretto, sorry, and confronts Hubbard the mechanic, who gives him a Corona beer and tells him that John Cena is going to London. Cut to Tokyo. Miss Overalls notices a Mexican flag in the window and assumes that it must be connected to Han. Cut to Cologne, Germany, where Lil Bow Wow and his friends are working on a rocket car. Ludacris and Roman show up. Ludacris asks the mechanics for a vehicle that does not explode and explains that Vin Diesel sent them. Cut to London. We see a fancy jewelry showing. Helen Mirren walks out with a stolen necklace, and Vin Diesel catches her stealing the keys to a sports car. The police chase them while Vin Diesel inquires if she has seen John Cena. Amazingly, she has. She then takes him to the set of a rap video at a mansion where John Cena is hiding out. Vin Diesel meets John Cena, but is then arrested. In the police van, it is revealed that Cardi B is one of the police that arrested Vin Diesel, and all the other officers are just her background dancers. Back to Tokyo. Miss Overalls and Vin Diesel's sister break and enter the apartment with the Mexican flag, where they discover a photo of Han with a young girl. Suddenly, a young woman appears and tells them to get down right as a hit squad attacks. Feminist kung fu ensues. Miss Overalls is saved by Han. Back to Edinburgh. A mysterious box is being delivered to a room. In a church, Otto places a small electrical device. Vin Diesel is driving, and now the whole gang is in London. And they're looking for as they're looking for John Cena, their tech gets scrambled. John Cena is stealing the other half of the Ares device. While critiquing the city of London, Roman sees a delivery man with cauliflower ears, and goes to fight him. After the fight, Ludacris's chain flies off and sticks to the truck, revealing that it contains a large electromagnet. Ludacris's backup dancer sees Otto exiting the church and decides to tail him. She then reveals she doesn't know how to drive, but decides to drive the delivery truck anyway. She drives the truck, the magnet, Ludacris and Roman away in pursuit of Otto. While Ludacris and Roman fight the delivery drivers in the back of the truck, Vin Diesel drives through the streets of London chasing John Cena and eventually gets up to the rooftops to chase him on foot. Ludacris and Roman defeat the delivery drivers, and Roman again points to their success as evidence of the fabricated nature of their reality. Vin Diesel finally catches John Cena when he then spears him off a zip line through a window. They fight. John Cena is about to escape when they use the super magnet, and his car rips through a gift shop and sticks to the truck. Back at John Cena's aircraft hangar, Otto begins to assemble an army to rescue John Cena. Cypher suggests that if this was a movie, this would be the moment where the bad guy has an unexpected setback. Cypher and Otto argue about which Star Wars character he would be. Back at Kurt Russell's secret hideout, John Cena is detained. Miss Overalls and Vin Diesel's sister arrive with Hans, who is greeted with disbelief and hugs. The young girl who is with Hans reveals that her parents created the Ares weapon and that her DNA is the key to using it. Suddenly, armed men descend on the base. John Cena leaves with the key girl. As the door shuts, Ludacris switches on the magnet, disarming the remaining guards, and everyone fights. The gang goes to exit the base, but Vin Diesel stays behind to sacrifice himself so the others can get out. The base is collapsing now, and while fighting off a dozen men, Vin Diesel falls into the water at the bottom of the base. Flashback. Vin Diesel walks through his memories, seeing himself as a little kid, and his dad telling him and his brother about what great cars Dodge makes. His flashback is interrupted by his son, Brian, who asks him, "When are you coming home?" Then Vin Diesel astral projects to the racetrack and witnesses Jacob tampering with the motor at his father's direction. Now Vin Diesel is watching Jacob lose the race that forced him into banishment. Vin Diesel is then surrounded by darkness until Miss Overalls dives into the water to rescue him. Vin Diesel wakes and has an emotional moment with Miss Overalls. They kiss. The gang returns to the base that just collapsed and begins strategizing on how to stop John Cena. Scene 7, John Cena and Otto and the Key Girl are watching a space shuttle launch. John Cena activates the Ares device. Cut to Ludacris and Roman in deep-sea scuba diving outfits en route to outer space in the rocket car. Cut to the rest of the gang that's pulling up on John Cena's Caravan as he begins to satellite uplink from a moving armored truck. Cut to Ludacris and Roman launching into space and looking out over the Earth as they approach the satellite. Cut to John Cena, who has realized that Vin Diesel and company are pursuing him. Cut to Ludacris and Roman in space, they approach the satellite. Cut to John Cena, who decides to handle Vin Diesel and company himself, but is betrayed by Otto, who is partnered with Cypher. Cypher decides to take care of things herself. Vin Diesel and Miss Overalls use the magnets to pull cars into the path of the armored truck. John Cena comes to their aid, using the magnets to pull down telephone lines to flip the armored truck. Back in space, Ludacris crashes into the satellite. Back on Earth, Vin Diesel rides the upside-down armored truck down a mountain like a snowboard. Until the truck crashes into Cypher's jet, which is revealed to have been remote piloted the whole time. Vin Diesel and John Cena shake hands and make peace with each other. John Cena takes the keys to Vin Diesel's car and drives away. Blackout. Everyone is arriving at a family barbecue. Vin Diesel looks on as Miss Overalls plays with Brian, who is charged with blessing the food. Everyone sits at the table except for Vin Diesel, who stands and points out that there is an empty chair. They all hear an engine approaching, and they turn to look. And then a blue sports car pulls into the driveway. Roll credits.
One more. Let's hear it for Zach and that amazing plot summary. Any questions?
I have a question. Yeah. What was the Star Wars character they were arguing about?
So Otto, he asserts that he would be Han Solo. Because,
right.
Right.
And then
and
said
Cypher's
Yoda.
like, no, you're Yoda.
That's right.
And he's like, the
Yoda.
little green guy? And they argue about that.
And then because it's a puppet.
Yeah, exactly, puppet.
Makes sense. All right, cool.
I just want to say,
Clarifying.
Zach, that's Audible Book of the Year right there. I need that copy. That was dope.
That was. I want to see you start a YouTube series where you just pick random like sequels of movies, like far into no context, and then you just do exactly that. And
yeah, anything with 3 movies before it, where there's tons of backstory that the existing film coast on that momentum. Yeah.
So what with no context of any of the movies whatsoever, like what were some of your thoughts and impressions and like thoughts for the movie?
Yeah. I'd never seen any of the Fast and Furious films, but I was aware of them culturally, I guess, enough to know like it's cars and crime and Vin Diesel. It's ridiculous. I knew it was a ridiculous film series, and then you told me the whole story about the Dom Shrine, and that's when I started to think like this is not just a wild movie series. This is one man's quest to see his vision enacted in the world. And I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's I appreciate these films. I think they're very entertaining in the same way I think professional wrestling is entertaining. Like I don't think it's real, but you know, it's a roller coaster. It's fun. Enjoy the ride. Don't question it. Just push on forward.
Yeah.
That's what I think about the films.
Thank you so much. Love that. Let's give it up for Zach one more time.
Yeah,
That was
thank you.